Hey, welcome back. We are now ready to actually start working in QuickBooks. We're down to Module 4, where we're going to talk in this module about how to work with customers and jobs. This is Section 1, and in this section, what I want to talk to you about is how to set up customers and then jobs for those customers. Customers are people that buy from you. It could be a business that buys from you. This is where you make the income from your business. Some businesses actually have jobs for each customer. Construction is a prime example because they might have a customer where they remodel multiple homes. That could be multiple jobs they do for that customer. So let me show you how to set those up properly so that you can track all your customers and jobs. We're here in the sample file in QuickBooks. This is Rock Castle Construction. And I want to show you how to get to a list of your customers and your jobs. This is your Customer Center. You can click on it right here, but remember you can also get to it by clicking up here on Customers, or if you went to Customers on the menu, you could get to it that way as well. But I'm going to click on the Customer Center, and you're going to see all the customers and jobs that they have set up. Here's a list of your customers and your jobs. Notice they're in alphabetical order. This is your preference of how you want to set this up. If you don't want them alphabetically, maybe you have numeric numbers for your customers, that's certainly okay, but they chose to do it alphabetically. You'll notice underneath a customer, if there are jobs, you'll see them right here. Here's Christy Abercrombie, and there's 3 jobs for Christy. When you click on a particular customer or job, you can see the balance that they owe you for that entire customer or per job. And this column over here is where you can attach a file. So if you had some file, maybe a Word doc or some Excel file that you'd already created related to this, you can actually attach it right here. If you saw, I just double-clicked where it said attachment. I can scan my computer and find a file by clicking here, or use the actual scanner and scan a document that I have already. You just drag and drop them into here. That's another way to do it if you've got it open down there. And then when you're done, you just click done, and you'll see it as an attachment right over here. A little paper clip will show up. This is the information about the customer, their name and their address, their email. You can see that Christy's email is actually a link. So if I wanted to email something to Christy from here, I could do that. Over here, you're going to see the notes for Christy. And I'll show you in a few minutes how they get there. But these are the notes, and if you have any that are here all the time, they're pinned is what they call it. And then here's some reports. Now notice I can also drag this bottom part down a little bit if I need to see it. But here's some of the reports I just mentioned if you wanted to run these, and they're related to this customer. You can also get a map to Christy's address and some directions. This will actually take you out to, it's not MapQuest, I think it's Intuit's version of MapQuest. Down here at the bottom, there's a tab that says Transactions, and this is where you're going to see every transaction for Christy Abercrombie in this case. You can see there are payments she's made, there's an estimate they created, there's an invoice, a check. You can kind of see the list. If you wanted to go to one of these, all you have to do is double click on it and you'll open up that particular transaction. This is an invoice that was done for Christy. I'm going to close it. I'm not going to use the top X, that'll close QuickBooks, but the one right below it I'll use to close that transaction. When you're working with transactions, you can show all of the transactions. Maybe you just want to see the payments you received from Christy. You can narrow the list by choosing that from the list. Or you can go back and show all the transactions. You can filter this list if you want. If you want to just see this fiscal year, if you want to see just this month, you can look down this list and pick a different date range as well. Down at the bottom of this list, you're going to see where it says Manage Transactions, and there's a down arrow. If I wanted at this point to create any of these items for Christy, I could do it from here. But chances are I'm not going to be on this screen when I'm ready to invoice Christy or ready to receive her payment, but it is an option there if you want it. There's also a Run Reports down at the bottom, so if you want to view a report based on this information, you could do that as well. We call these quick reports, so keep that in mind for later when we talk about reports. The next tab over says Contacts. This would be any contact you want to keep track of related to Christy. You can see there's a couple of them here already. We've got Steve and Christy. If I wanted to go to the bottom here, I could choose to add a new contact or edit the one I'm clicked on already. So if I edit the Christy contact, for example, this is what it looks like. I can go in and put in Christy's job title, her first and last name, and any of these fields here, I'll be able to change what that field represents by clicking from the drop-down arrow on the left there. She's also set up as a primary contact. I could set her as a secondary or an additional contact. You can have as many contacts as you like in this list. The to-dos is the next tab over, and I want to show you real quick how a to-do works. There are different types of to-dos. I'm going to set one up here. I want to go to the bottom where it says Manage To-Dos and create a new one. A to-do could be a phone call, a fax, an email, a meeting, an appointment, or a task related to Christy. Let's say that I have to set up a meeting with Christy and it's pretty high priority. Notice she's already here, so unless I need to change that, I don't need to click the drop down. And then I can also set the due date for this. So if I need to set this by the 31st of October, I can also check the box and set a time if I'd like. So here in the details is where I'm going to say set up lunch meeting with Christy to discuss kitchen remodel job. And then down at the bottom, is this particular to-do, is it active, has it already been done, or is it inactive? And I'll just click OK. And what you're going to see now is it's on my list here. So if you have a list of to-dos, they can be sorted by type if you like. You might want to look at all the ones that are active, all the ones that are done, and also you can set a date range. Once you complete a to-do, you can actually just double click where it says done over here, and that'll take you here where you can change this to say done down at the bottom. And then it has a check mark there. To-dos are a great way to keep track of things that you have to take care of related to this customer. The notes is the next tab over, and you saw notes up here a few minutes ago. You can actually add as many notes as you like to this. You just come down to the bottom, click the arrow and choose add new, and this is where you would add a new note. Notice if you do add a note, you can also turn it into a to-do from here, which is really pretty cool. If this is a note that you want pinned, you can check the little box. And basically what pinned means is it's going to stay here so you can see it anytime you need to. The next thing you're going to see is a list of your sent emails. I mentioned to you that in QuickBooks you can email any form. A form would be an invoice. A form might be a purchase order. And what will happen is now it will automatically be listed here, so if you wanted to go back and review those at any time, you could. A couple of other quick things just to make note of. Here's another way to attach a file up here. And this is another way to edit your customer. If I click there, I can go in and edit anything I need to related to this customer. Up at the top, you have new customer and job. This is where we're going in just a minute to add a new customer. Also, you have the ability to add new transactions. We've already seen this down at the bottom when we were looking under the Transactions tab. Do you remember this list? That's what this is. If I happen to be here and I'm ready to invoice my customer, I can, but chances are I'm not going to be on this screen when I'm ready to do that. I can also print a customer list from here if I want, or maybe one that has their transactions as well. The Excel option will let you export your customer list or export the transactions. You can also import those from Excel, or you can copy and paste them from Excel, either one. And then the Word option, one of the features that QuickBooks has is the ability to do mail merges with Microsoft Word. This is where you could go and have Word do a merge with QuickBooks to prepare some of these different letters that you see, and they'll go directly to Christy. We'll be covering some of this in a later module. And then the last thing you see is the income tracker here, which is going to take you back here where you can see a list of all of your customers in like a list form. Let me go ahead and close that because we're going to look at the income tracker in section 9 and spend more time on that. That's a quick overview of how this customer information screen works. What I'd like to have you do now is go ahead and go over to part 2 of this section. I'm going to show you how to actually set up a new customer and a new job. So that way when you're looking at reports, you'll be able to distinguish the jobs from the customer and it'll be set up properly.